Alright, I know, Pad. Pad, why are you making another video on Future Funk? I know I've made one already, I know. And in the grand scheme of things, it really hasn't been that long ago since I made it. Here's the thing though, even though it's only been like 2 years since I dove into the genre with you and explored it with you on here, a lot has changed in Future Funk since then. The cosmic grooves of the internet's funkiest little genre, Future Funk, have come a long way, and it seems like just yesterday I was typing in Future Funk on YouTube and looking for songs, and a large selections of tracks would pop up almost all the time with the same old sort of stuff. A solid catchy measure of an old 80s city pop song on loop for 2 minutes straight, some nice fun simple little drums, and a classy fuzzy retro anime gif to accompany the whole thing. Most times not even synced to the kick of the song. The whole thing was very, very aesthetic indeed, and with a formula so repetitive yet contagious, the emitted grooves brought out by this Vaporwave subgenre became beloved by many. Vaporwave existed for almost 2 years up until this point, and most people welcomed in this higher tempo, generally more optimistic sound pretty quickly, as it was a nice breath of fresh air from the crooning, droning sound styles found often in your stereotypical vaporwave track at the time. Future Funk got down right to the point. Producers would strip away all the excess fat of an old 12-inch disco sample, take the catchiest part and inject it into the listener's ears for a minute or two, quick hits and long-lasting highs. Future Funk really was like a drug. However, time has passed, and when time passes, people's tastes inevitably change. Many began to grow tiresome of the overdone and pretty lazily constructed Future Funk formula that was going, for a couple years strong. Artists as well began to crave newness, and luckily for us, the listeners, they went to work. We have seen a solid handful of producers who have stuck around with the fire-burning passion for disco, Latin drums, French house, pretty much anything that can contain a groove you can possibly manipulate with a modern touch. That burning flame inside has made artists craft tracks in a much more deliberate, dense, and creatively thought out way more than ever before, making 2019 and the future of the scene such an expansive time for the genre and the talent coming out of it. So yes, we have seen some crazy growth in the community, and I absolutely love how exciting it has all gotten. But with all the releases coming out, you may ask, where do I even begin? So today, I want to give you 5 releases we have seen in the recent days of the scene that I believe do an excellent job at showcasing just how wild the production and groovy sensations can get for a Future Funk experience. So put on some swim shorts, baby, make sure you catch a Lapras and teach it surf, and bring a lot of sunscreen, because you and I are going to be sizzling on this hot summer day at the beach, because you, my friend, just entered the Future Funk zone. Also, before we begin, make sure you head on over to Vapor95 if you're interested in reading this video in article form, and check out all the other cool Vaporwave inspired content they got going on over there. And as always, please hit that like button on this video and click subscribe if it is your first time here. Doing so helps the channel out immensely and notifies you the moment I drop new videos. Unibeat Origins. Unibeat opened up 2019 with a colossal bang. For those who haven't heard of Unibeat, this artist is super low-key and likes to make his mark on the scene strictly with the final result of his music. Let the product speak for itself. Bandcamp describes the artist best. An artist beloved by some of the biggest and most respected names in Vaporwave and Future Funk. So yeah, player, do not mistake Uni's quiet ways to sneak into his musical output, because Origins is anything but shy. This wall of sound that you will have absolutely no way around or ability to scale, Origins is massively colorful with jolting sample chops. I love that snazzy piano reconstruction on the track Internacional, knowing when to peek in and out of instrumental subtleness with filters and mixing. It is an absolutely fun and bouncy Future Funk release. Depth woven into each measure on an almost hour-long track list, which you don't see a lot in Future Funk. Things usually don't run for more than like a half an hour on an album. Origins came out in January with 12 tracks, averaging between 4 and 6 minutes each. So you are not in for only a lengthy listen, but a superb one to say the least. Tracks like Konnichiwa and Multi-Lover are so musically hefty, so listen up, you better come hungry when you're listening to this thing. BarbWalters, Pleasure. Barbie baby, let me tell you player, the step up here from Reconnect, brother, you can feel the attention to detail that went into this project, and I really liked Reconnect too, an album I recommend you listen to before jumping into his new one, Pleasure, so you can see the growth of his musical artistry. But for real, dude, Pleasure just blows that thing out of the water. Pleasure can easily be one of the best future funk releases of the year so far. Measures are sauteed in their own unique way, every single moment separating itself from the previous one and making sure no two sections on the album sound the same. Whether it is some empty spaces that are nothing short of ticklish between the sample chops or an added layer of a secondary sample to create an extra little melody for you, Barb delivers every beat on here with a cherry on top. You can definitely see the Ed Banger influence on here. Tracks like So You Wanna have this clunky chop job execution that reminds me of the classic track Arabesque by French house legend Sebastian. And I know how much you love that French house, Barb. I love this meaty, clustered sound, a straight up cosmic electro-funk salad that sounds like a bunch of robots working on some assembly line. Also, the track Go Easy, that bass line. Hatena Parader. Next, let's take a look at my boy Hatena and his May 2019 release of Parader, an extremely charming future funk release with some quality chopping and a superb selection of samples to undeniably keep you listening from start to finish. Listen, this is an album that is hard to put down once you rev up that first track. Fans of the future funk scene who are looking for a return to a sample-heavy emphasis production-wise, Hatena is your go-to pick for that simple summer lovin' and the sample lover. And I love samples. I love a good sample chop, so I revisit this thing quite a lot. Each track blends smoothly with one another and at a tasty pace to say the least. The sample chopping is really Hatena's bread and butter on Parader. Your attention is always spent on awaiting what little quirky variation the vocals will chop up into, and I had a blast in visiting the musical carnival he's operating up in here. My personal favorite track on this album is Cheap Thrills, some great workout music. Also the track Loser, I see you with that homage to the Phantom's Revenge. You can tell the French house legendary DJ is a huge inspiration to the young future funk artist for Parader. Most of the tracks contain the same formula, but when it's done with such humble yet quality execution, you just can't help but fall in love. Montaigne. Next up, I want to not talk necessarily about a specific release, but an entire label, Montaigne. Featuring releases from fan favorite producers like FIBRE, Discoholic, Cobalt Road, and many, many more, Montaigne is your go-to platform if you are someone who can never get enough of that modern disco heat. I also really want to applaud the label for their frequent yet quality uploads and releases. A couple weeks ago, we were hit with the single Still Down to Get Down by Discoholic featuring Bruce Take Nap and Fawn, with some proper jingles, a crunchy bass line, a laid-back drum track, and some added killer vocals. The track blooms with sophistication and dedication. Kinda sounds like some breakbot, and that's a huge compliment. It truly is wonderful to see artists so passionate about disco and wanting to create their own music from start to finish. Personally, I recommend just jumping straight into their Montaigne Volume 1, a collection featuring 11 great artists all looking to shine. A diverse palette of artists inspired by disco. Doesn't really get any better than this. Vantage, Aloha Island. The homie Vantage, damn, it has been almost 4 years since Metro City was released. Time flies. Even in 2015, Vantage's classic album Metro City was pretty intricate for a time surrounded by a lot of future funk, flooded with lazy looping and oversimplicity. Listen to the opening track 50/50 on here, I still love those change-ups. Aloha Island, which was released in 2017, is easily Vantage's best work yet. Opinions. Here we have another case of a producer who, after coming into the scene, has gradually began to put more and more of his own organic touch on his releases. Aloha Island is spacious, it's roomy, it's grand, and many tracks have this floaty feel. Due to there not being this jumble and mishmash of overcrowding instruments, trying to climb over one another. And like comparing this to Pleasure, right, by BarbWalters, like I love a good chop job. I love when a track is just all clunky sounds and stuff, but sometimes it's nice when when the track can breathe and you maturely choose what goes where, and I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it, but it just feels, it's like a very open sound, and I feel like I haven't heard that too much in the scene. So Aloha Island is definitely something that sticks out. It's a humble ride. Tracks like Street Chorus have that fun, filtered vocal chop laying over some minimal synths, drums, and more hand-selected instruments that keep the track super clear and aerodynamic. Same vibe on the track with Me, a very Toro y Moi meets future funk, as if Toro y Moi isn't groovy enough already. Vantage is the perfect music to accompany you on a flight or long train ride, so make sure you get a window seat. At the end of the day, future funk will always be what you make of it. I mean, calling it all future funk or calling everything vaporwave, it's just like, to me, it's a word to easily umbrella everything we've seen these past couple of years. At least that's how I'll sum it up. It's subjective. Is future funk limited to the repetitive looping formula combined with a 1980s anime gif? If we place more instruments, vocals, secondary samples, heavy drum mixing, whatever you want to do, are we just entering territory claimed by other genres like new disco, French house, etc.? Whatever you think of it and whatever you want to call it nowadays, just remember always to groove, have a good time, and lose yourself. Just dance like nobody's watching. I'm so excited to see what future funk cooks up next. There's a ton of good artists out there. Let everyone know in the comments too who you love and who you're listening to nowadays. Spread the word, and maybe I'll find some, artists I haven't heard of either. So hit me up. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below what you're listening to, and give me some music for my summer. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. You are the best. I love you to death. Much love, your boy, Chennington.